We're going to first look here at the Detroit Pistons. A lot just going wrong in Detroit right now. You signed Monty Williams to a monster contract. He gets a 5-year deal from the Pistons. They make some offseason moves here. They want to get better. And it just looks like almost everything they've done over the past 3 or 4 years just hasn't panned out. You look at that Joe Harris move to bring him in. He's making $19 million. He's not really getting any kind of part in the rotation. He's not really playing. The center rotation is overcrowded. You have Wiseman, Bagley, Stewart, Duren all competing for minutes there. At least one of those guys every single game is going to get a DNP or hardly any minutes. Garbage time maybe. A lack of shooting and spacing. They rank 29th in three-pointers made at 10.3 a game. It's just really tough for them right now offensively looking at their numbers. But interestingly enough, it's not just the shooting. It's the turnovers. They rank 29th in turnovers. I mean, there's at 17 a game. They give the ball over a ton. 29th ranked offense overall. So a lot of issues there. A little bit of light on the horizon. Bogdanovich returns tonight. Looks like they took another loss here tonight. But Bogdanovich instantly made an impact, already dropped a 20-point game for them. So that's going to help a ton. Hopefully Monty Morris can get back at some point to help cut down those turnovers. Monty Morris is one of the best in the league at just taking care of the ball. So they really need to sort out that center rotation, figure out who's going to be playing, open up the floor for Cade Cunningham. It looks like he might not be the guy to kind of carry that team. He might be a Bridges type of guy to where he can do a lot as the main guy, but you're not sure if you're going to get to where you want to be with him in the fold here. So those are just a few observations I made for the Pistons here so far. But in your opinion, Ian, any thoughts on anything else they can do to kind of fix where they're at right now? Get rid of this stench that's in the air with this franchise record losing streak, just, some of the worst times in Pistons history here. How do they kind of get out of this rut they kind of find themselves in right now?
Well, the hope that I'm told is that Bogdanovich coming back will help them win some games and help turn the tide. I think they're going to take their time in assessing how this team looked with Bogdanovich, and maybe they can get on the right side of the win column here with that veteran back. And that's, according to teams in touch with them. And the interesting thing there is, as you know, Aaron, Bogdanovich was very much a topic of discussion at the trade deadline last year. A lot of teams had interest, Philly, the Lakers. And so they're going to be faced, Detroit is, with that question again. Where do we move Bogdanovich? Do we keep him because he's helping us? I mean, in the immediate future, right here, right now, they need to win some games to kind of calm the waters, because this it just hasn't worked well so far under this current regime, and not Monty Williams necessarily, but the front office management. So they need to, I think, to show ownership that, hey, this is not who we are. This 16, 17 game losing streak is not who we are. Once we get whole, we can compete. And I think that's where the focus is right now. Whether or not that happens, I'm not sure. It's a lot to put on Bogdanovich's shoulders. You mentioned Monty Morris too. Obviously, having him would help things very much. But those guys are not going to clear that logjam at the center position. They're not going to clear up that guard rotation. Jaden Ivey, it's been interesting to see how he's been used. And so there are plenty of issues under the surface outside of injuries that have really hampered this group.
Absolutely. And I want to zoom in on Jaden Ivey here a little bit. You mentioned his role. It's been really inconsistent. That's something that's kind of baffling to me. He was the number 5 pick last year in the draft for them. For him, it's just really hard to kind of find a rhythm and really understand what he's supposed to be contributing. If his role is continuously going between 30, 20 in the teens. Marcus Sasser was playing phenomenal for them. He was in the started to make waves in the rookie race here. He dropped back down to less than 10 minutes here tonight of playing time. So just a lot of inconsistent roles for these guys. I think that's kind of hampering their progress and their growth. And I just think that the rotation overall, who's playing the more minutes, Killian Hayes playing a lot of minutes, Isaiah Stewart clogging the driving lanes a little bit here for Cade is not helping. Cade is just turning the ball over at an astronomical rate. His true shooting percentage is definitely below league average. So he's just not converting a lot of his shots. Dead last amongst a lot of the other players that control the ball a lot, like Randall and Kuzma and Tyler Hero, other guys that rank pretty low. He's right there at the bottom of the pack. So I think those are some of the moves they need to make. I do agree with you that center rotation is just a huge mess. I mean, how do you even give all those guys minutes? It's impossible. Like a lot of those guys can't play the four. I think even Isaiah Stewart is miscast as a four. I think he's better as a rim running energy type five to come off the bench, maybe behind a Duren. So those moves are definitely going to put them in the right direction. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Bogdanovich is going to make a huge difference, but he can't be the end all be all for this team. You can't just snap your fingers and be back in a great place. They're close to last, if not last, in all the major categories. So, I mean, a lot needs to change here. Monty Williams is a great coach, but I do think there are things he needs to change in this rotation. Give Ivy more minutes, maybe cut down Killian Hayes' minutes a little bit. Maybe lean more into an offensively styled team here instead of a defensively styled one, because obviously the defense philosophy is not working. You're not getting stops. Got to change something up here. So,
right. I think that's the issue too, in a big picture sense, because I think coming into this season, expectations were raised a bit. I think the goal and the expectation was to, be obviously be more competitive than they are now. But beyond that, be in that play-in area geographically in the East, and they're so far from that now. And I go back to the summer when Cade Cunningham was working out with the Team USA team that went to the World Cup, and he was working out with them as part of the younger group. And I was there for a few days in Vegas, and everybody that I spoke to, scouts that were watching, they said Cade Cunningham looked fantastic. He looked really good. They thought Jalen Green looked good too, but they kept raving about Cade Cunningham. So I expected him to come in here and really take that next step. I think it's got to be concerning for Detroit that it hasn't happened yet. And I think it puts another kind of I would say bad vibes, right? That's what the younger kids say, bad vibes around this team. It's just,
yep.
and that kind of snowballs on itself, Aaron, as you know. Once it goes in that direction, it's hard to get it back going in a positive way. So that's the challenge for Monty Williams, and that's the challenge for his group, because right now nothing is going right.